Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Tattoo Homewreckers, a podcast where we talk about tattoos, life, and everything in between. I'm Callista, and this is
Gaia.
And today we are talking tattoos.
Yep, this is our Tattoo 101. We posed a question on our Instagram and on our studio's Instagram and just asked people what tattoo questions they had. We, in the spirit of us being us, did not fully prepare, so we have not read these beforehand.
No,
so
it's going to be great.
Us.
No, I think it'll be organic. It'll be great. We are recording this again in the past, so that way, present you can listen because we are going to Disneyland this weekend.
We are, yep. So this will get released on the Monday that we know we will still be in Disney on Monday.
Yes, we still will be, but you guys will hear it. So without further ado, let's see what our first question is.
Okay, so how bad do back tattoos actually hurt?
Okay, this is, I feel like we get a lot of questions on every body part ever.
Yeah.
It depends on you. You have to really fuck around and find out.
Yeah, because I don't know about you. You've also got your back tattooed.
Mm-hmm.
For me, my spine was not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Most of my back wasn't. It was just the perimeter of it, especially over my love handles.
Yeah.
Oh, those are rough. But I also tattoo plenty of people who have the exact opposite, who say their spine is rough.
Yeah.
But I would not say my back is by far even close to the worst spot on my body.
Oh, for sure. I would say the same thing. For me, it wasn't that bad, but honestly, it's hard whenever you ask people those questions. Genuinely, the answer, you truly do have to fuck around and find out. I personally had a horrible time with the tops of my feet, and then I tattoo clients who sit perfectly fine for that. So fuck around and find out. Get your back tattoo.
Sorry, that's not the answer you want, but that's the answer we have.
Yep, there we go.
Why do blowouts happen and can they be avoided? This is a good fucking question. Okay, so yes, they can be avoided. Sometimes they cannot. Let's talk about skin itself for a second. We are putting your pigments, it's less than a hair follicle of depth. So it's really, really shallow.
Science.
So if you had a diagram, you can see how deep a hair follicle is, and we're not quite that deep. However, if you push too hard, if you run your machine too fast, so therefore you damage that skin too much that you end up going deeper, you can cause blowouts. Now, sometimes blowouts can happen because of someone's actual skin. So I'm really good at getting good consistent lines. Not tooting my own horn, just how it is.
Can attest. Yes.
I have lots of experience.
Yep.
But on some clients, it's a lot of times why you hear artists being really fearful for older skin is because it is a little bit thinner and it can get blown out a lot easily. But that being said, as long as you know what you're working with, you're fine.
Yeah. Every canvas is so different. And by canvas, sorry, I meant client skin. Because we even have young people that come in and I say it a lot. I call it blowout city.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes you get into an area and you're like, dude, this is blowout fucking city. How is this happening? And I've tattooed people who are 18 who have certain areas of their skin that are super easy to blow out. Truly just does. It depends.
Yeah.
And I want to go on back to speed of the machine and how far you're pushing it. I feel run our machines higher than most people.
We do, yeah.
Yes.
But we also work really fast.
So when I'm lining, I used to be at 10 volts, and now I'm at 9.8. Yeah.
You're a savage. 10.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was grazing, you know what I mean? So that's where speed and pressure come into play. So it really depends. Some people run at lower voltage, but they apply heavier pressure, which is fine. If that's comfortable for you, that's comfortable for you.
I run it at 9 always, whether it's lining or shading, and I don't ever adjust it because my hand makes the adjustments.
Wow.
Yeah, it is just a 9 flat across the board.
That's awesome. Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, 9.8 for me. And then when it comes to color shading, 9.2 sometimes.
Interesting.
And then when it comes to black and gray shading, it's at an 8. Yeah, but it also just depends. You go into a different canvas and sometimes you have to gauge whether or not, so it's a constant.
But let me be clear, for the most part, blowouts can be avoided.
Yeah,
a lot of time they are due to an artist applying too much pressure because you want to think about your tattoo machine a lot like a lawnmower. For anyone who's ever been on a push mower, pushing it into the earth does not make it cut your grass any better.
Mhm.
All you're going to do is fuck up the earth. However, your lawnmower knows like the correct setting for the blade, assuming you've set that up correctly. And all your job is just to push your lawnmower.
Guide
and it
it.
knows exactly what the fuck it's doing. Yeah, you guide it. And it's the same thing with your tattoo machine. You set the depth of the needle and then you guide it. And so if you are then like, oh, I'm going to push in, same thing with the lawnmower, what are you going to do? You're just going to fuck up the earth. Or in this case, you're going to fuck up the skin. So sometimes, yes, there are clients who are just prone to blowouts, at which point, like, you're kind of fucked. But unless most of your tattoos are blown out, if you find you just have one that's blown out really nasty, probably an artist.
Yep.
Whereas we can look at clients and see if you consistently have blowouts. If you've gone to multiple artists, well, you just have, like, unfortunately, blowout city skin.
Yeah, Blowout City.
Yep. So yeah, hope that answers. If not, y'all just ask us more questions.
Please
We
do.
love these. Is there anything you refuse to tattoo, body part wise or subject?
Subject matter wise, I mean, to state the obvious, anything that's racist, homophobic, or sexist, any like white supremacist, anything, definitely is a no-go for me.
Same.
So any kind of hate speech tattoo. As far as location, I mean, I will tattoo it. Really just depends on the client, though. If I know you sit well, then I will absolutely tattoo your ribs. If I know that you struggle with every part of your body, I'm not going to do that for you. Another part of for whatever reason, I just really don't like tattooing the chest. I hate tattooing chests. I really don't like it. The skin there is weird. It's always sensitive. And it doesn't matter, like, if I've tattooed you before and your skin was fine beforehand, tattoo your chest. It's always sensitive. It's always weird. It's so close to your face that it's so goddamn intimate.
She's laughing because I tattooed my husband earlier today and we are doing a big cover up on his chest of like some old tattoos that he had. And I must have bitched and moaned, I don't know, a million times about being breathed on. It's the thing I miss the most about people wearing masks is that when I'm below you, my head's below your fucking nose and you're just there just breathing on me. The world's shittiest ASMR. Like, it's awful. I hate being breathed on, period.
Yes.
And so then to work in that region, it's terrible.
For me, I'm like, I'm pretty good at, like, there will be a moment where I tell someone to take their shirt off where I'm like reminded that this is a very intimate thing. But then as soon as I get into the tattoo, we're easy, solid. Your job is to sit there and take the tattoo. My job is to do it. So I'm not worried about like how close I am to you or how close you are to me. For chest tattoos, I am very acutely aware of how close I am to you at all times. And that, to me, I try my best to make sure that I'm always falling into the piece. I'm 100% focused. And that, to me, is a great distraction.
You know what my distraction is? A little sidestep here. I will tattoo this because I do them all the time. But it's something that's a huge pet peeve of mine. And it's just me specifically. She's laughing because she knows what it is. What pulls me out? Long nails. When I have to tattoo on the inner forearm and I have to like tattoo anywhere in this arm region, long fingernails will constantly be grazing my arm and it pulls me out faster than anything else and sends me to the most disgusting, like, creeped out, like, icky place.
Yeah.
I hate people's fingernails touching me. And, like, there's genuinely, like, nothing they can, like clients can do.
No.
Bar, like, just don't wear long fingernails.
Yeah.
But you also can't be like, hey, don't get your nails done until after your appointment.
Very valid.
But that is the thing. I think for me, it's the same. I just won't tattoo anything offensive. Or I don't do ribs anymore for the same reason that 98% of people sit like absolute dog shit and it's not worth it because can't do good work on it.
Yeah.
And no one's trying to get honestly, like for what most of the time, no one's getting like big shit that I want to be doing on their ribs. Otherwise, like I'm not going to tattoo you on like an actual like job stopper location. Like unless I know you, I'm not tattooing your head, face, or neck. Like I'm just not down for that because I still subscribe to the old school like tattoo beliefs that like you have to kind of earn that shit. So if you come in and you're like, I want my face tattooed, I'm not the correct artist for you. Once again, I'm also just not able to do anything that I want to be tattooing style wise.
Oh, for sure.
In like a small place like your face.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
not taking up enough real estate.
All right, next question.
Mhm.
Is it true that if I go swimming right after getting a tattoo, all the ink can get flushed out?
No, that's not. I mean, it's not what happens. When you go swimming right after a tattoo, it is susceptible for a terrible heal
Yeah.
because all of that bacteria is just floating around in your tattoo and doing that. So that might be the reason why your ink falls out, is because you have a horrible time healing.
Yeah.
The ink isn't flushing out because of the liquid itself. It's flushing out in air quotes. You're losing pigment because you're having a really rough heal because you exposed your fresh wound to the elements.
Yeah. You want to remember that your tattoo is indeed a wound. So just like if you went and got surgery, your doctor will tell you, please do not submerge this.
Yeah.
Until it is healed, at least enough like on top. So that way you have a protective barrier. Also, it's just gross for anyone else to be in the water with you.
Oh,
Because that's gross for you. Because, like, you want to think of any body of water as just a cesspool of bacteria.
it's like jizzing in the pool. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't let your body have leak fluids into a pool.
No, not cool.
So, but yeah, your ink won't fall out. It'll
Yeah.
just, you probably are going to have a nasty infection, or B, a terrible heal because you've waterlogged your tattoo.
Yeah, nasty. So just avoid
All right.
it, please.
I don't know if you want to, I've been asking all the questions.
No, that's totally fine. Okay, so.
Start up top.
Oh, no. What was the worst tattoo you have done?
Oh, okay. So this is super easy for me because I'm currently covering it up. So I tattooed my husband's chest about 7 or 8 years ago. Fun fact, he is literally the only person who has ever said, nope, I'm done, and like fully tapped out and didn't let me continue. So he's the
He
one
has
person.
A hard time getting
Yeah, but he sat like a fucking beast today. He sat
Good.
so well. Like I had to ask him a couple times. I was like, "Is this all right? Like, is it numb? Are you good?" And he was like, "No, it's terrible." But
That's what
he
she
did
said.
not move. I hate you so much. Yeah, so it was a big clipper ship on his chest, and the original outline for it, I am so horribly embarrassed because he was not able to properly breathe during it. So it was like tattooing somebody on a trampoline. It was just jaggedy. It was not a good time. Now, if I'm being honest, other people have looked at it and been like, yeah, I mean, the line work's like not that good, but it's also not that bad. But for me, it's by far the worst tattoo.
The worst tattoo I've ever done? Like one that like really made me, I guess, angry. I truly don't know. I know there's a few out there like that technically aren't sound. So if I were to go back today and redo them, they would be so much better. But also like, I don't think I've like bombed anything. Like obviously there have been like instances where I'm like, oh, the line work could be better. But I'm, as an artist now, I've grown into myself to know that like I did my part of the group project, and my part was to do the best that I could with what you gave me. And so if you decide to sit like shit the entire time, you know what,
that's on you.
that's on you. I'm fucking over it. So I don't have a specific one, but I will come back to it if I remember.
Okay, and then we have, how much direction do you like when discussing a new tattoo? We've kind of touched on this in a previous episode.
We have, yeah.
So we'll make it kind of quick.
Yeah, if I know you and you're like, tattoo whatever you want on me and I trust you and we built that trust, I love that. If I don't know you, it's the first time I meet, just give me a general, like, just tell me like dog, and then I'll just run with it. And I love that. I love the freedom to just run with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You?
I like a little bit more direction just because I have been burned so much with people being like, yeah, you can just like have fun with it. And then they end up coming in and being like, no, I just want this instead. And they didn't tell you. So for me, the like words of like, I just want my artist to have like freedom are super like red flaggy to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't trust you. So
Yeah.
you kind of have to like earn that right with me for me to actually be like, cool, just genuinely do my own thing. Especially just because like I have a really distinct style. Like it's cute but fucked up. So if you don't want something cute but fucked up, you don't want my actual style. You want something that you've seen me do, but it's not actually mine.
Yeah.
So
Give her a photo at least.
yeah, give me a reference photo. I'm just going to keep reading them because it's easier.
Yes.
Numbing creams. Do you guys use them, or do you think it should be old school? Earn your ink.
Okay, I have very strong feelings about this. The way you earn your tattoo is you fucking pay me for it. So if you decide to use numbing cream, more power to you. It makes your job easier. It makes my job easier.
Yep.
You?
My philosophy, same as yours. You earn it by paying for it. Here's my thing to every artist that ever told you, or any person that ever told you had to earn your tattoo. Do they use like lidocaine or novocaine at the dentist? Because if they do, fuck you. Fuck you. Yeah. Fuck you forever. If you take painkillers when you have a headache, fuck you. If you do anything that makes your life more comfortable, I'm sorry, are you wearing a sweater and it's cold outside? You should earn that.
Yes.
No, you do lots. If you drive with AC, if you run AC in your house, you know what? If you fucking drive, period. If you use any modern conveniences, then fuck you for telling people that they need to earn it.
Yeah.
They paid you, and that is earning it. This is not a like tribal situation where it is a rite of passage. If that's the case, sure. But at that point, they're not paying you for it. Because the moment that they've paid for a transaction, then that's it.
Yeah, dude.
All they need to do is say, hey, look, that's it. I paid for it. This is how I earned it.
Plus, I love it when they're comfy.
Yeah. Why would I want you to suffer?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want you to be in pain. I want you to be comfortable. So if you want to numb up beforehand, awesome. Fucking great. We sell numbing stuff at the studio specifically for that reason. If you want to use numbing stuff during, absolutely. I myself will constantly apply numbing stuff where it's just topical lidocaine because it makes you more comfortable and it lets me do my job better. Yep. And because once again, I don't want you in pain. Because if I was like, oh, I want you to be in pain, well then I'd kind of be fucked in the head.
Oh, for
so
sure.
For any artist that spouts that shit, or for any of your friends who are like, well, I earned all mine. Nah, bro. Either you got tattooed before like topical lidocaine was a thing, or you know what? That's your own personal fucking preference.
Yeah, dude. It's no one's impressed by how much pain you decided to put yourself through willingly.
No.
Like, good for you. You decided that.
Because, like, my thing with that is that I sit super well. Like, me and pain, we got a unique relationship. And just because I can be in a lot of pain and sit really well does not mean I want other people to. And that being said, I'm just too lazy to, like, have the hours beforehand to numb shit up. But once we get going and, like, you've got, you know, a spray right there, I will absolutely take it. Yep. Like, sure, go ahead. But if you don't do it, I'm also just going to be like, meh, whatevs. So, yeah, fuck you to everyone that says you need to earn it. As you can hear, we're very passionate about that.
Very.
What do I do if I have a text and image design idea, but the artist image style I like doesn't do text? Then that's not your tattoo artist.
Yeah.
Also, can we just sidestep and talk a little bit about text for a second?
Yes.
This is actually really funny because I am someone who loves text, but I incorporate text either, like, even when I tattoo it, I do it as either a standalone piece or, like, on my personal tattoos, I have text integrated into pieces. So, like, I'm getting a tattoo for Gone Girl and I'm getting a Kit Kat and it'll say no way baby on it. Good. But the Kit Kat itself will say that. I personally and most artists don't want to do text because it takes away from imagery. Because the moment there are words there, people only read the words and they don't pay attention to it. So if you are wanting to get text with an image, ask yourself, is it enhancing the image or are you defining what it is? Whether or not it's needed. But if your artist is like, look, dude, I don't do text, that's not the artist for you.
Yeah, please. Like, I think a lot of clients get lost in the fact that, yes, this is like a very intimate procedure, but it's also very intimate for your tattoo artist. And just in any intimate situation, you want consent on both ends. And so please just know that, like, if your tattoo artist doesn't consent to doing text, don't spring it on them. Same thing. Don't spring a finger up the butt. Please don't do that. That is terrible. Yeah. Ask for consent first. And if your artist says no, no means no. And move on.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Perfect. What is the worst commonly accepted advice given about the tattoo process?
Oh my God. I love that both of us just had such a huge reaction, like a visceral, physical reaction. You should answer first.
Mine's going to go straight to aftercare.
I knew it. I knew it. Say it.
Okay. Some of the worst advice you can get is inappropriate aftercare, whether that is putting like petroleum-based products, and I'll go over a really quick reason why in a second, because everyone's always like, wait, why not? My artist told me to use A&D ointment or Bactine. Aquaphor, not Bactine. Aquaphor. And just to be clear, Aquaphor does have a lotion that is not petroleum-based. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the actual like thick Aquaphor. And like A&D ointment is diaper rash. So I just want you to think for 1 second. And I get it. We trust our tattoo artists. We probably shouldn't, but we do. When you get a cut, a scrape, anything like that, if you had like road rash that didn't have, you know, any sort of like debris in it, would you put A&D ointment or Aquaphor on a wound to heal it? Is that your like, hey, you know what? That's my go-to. It's not, because that's not the appropriate use of that product. And I am not saying that you need to go with tattoo-specific products. It's just that you need to understand why you want to apply products, period. So like at our studio, we use a topical bandage. It's Tattooderm, known commonly in the hospital as Tegaderm. And that's going to create a surface layer heal if you leave it on for the full like 24 to 48 hours. So you're going to be surface layer healed. So after that, the only reason we are applying aftercare is to keep flexibility in that skin, because our top layer of skin, when we damage it, does not maintain moisture. So we want to put moisture back into it so it keeps that skin nice and flexible. Now, what does petroleum do? It is a water barrier. So it's not actually having any moisture being put into the skin. It's actually slowing down the migration of those epithelial cells. So when you're slowing it down, what's going to happen is we're going to push pigment out from the bottom because we don't have a closed like skin on top. So it's going to slow it down and push it out. Now, I understand that a lot of artists will recommend this, and it's because as much as everyone's going to fucking freak out, if you're a tattoo artist and you've been telling people this, education in our industry is severely lacking.
Very
severely lacking. If you ask an artist why you use products, oftentimes they will either just say something right off the cuff of like, I don't know, that's what I was told to do. But they don't understand the actual point of why we're using the products that we're using. So you're basically asking the blind to lead the blind in the situation.
Well, yeah, it's the same reason why tattoo artists got away with wrapping fresh tattoos in saran wrap for so long.
Yeah.
You would never ever get a burn, like a bad burn on your arm, and be like, oh, the next logical step is to saran wrap it. You would never do that. So treat your tattoo the same way as you would treat an open wound.
Exactly.
Simple. Well, mine was aftercare, but Gaia explained it so well. So my second thing would be to slap the tattoo when it's itchy. Don't do that.
So weird.
So don't do that.
Once again, would you do that to any other thing? If your legs are itchy during winter, are you going to slap them?
Just slap the shit out of them? No, you don't have to do that. Not only do you look silly, I'm sure you feel silly doing it. Don't do that. A lot of like, I've learned cool tricks. You can take a cold like ice pack or like a water bottle, just apply it to the area, because more than likely not, the reason why it's itchy is because it's a little inflamed, irritated, whatever.
Or it's dry.
So apply
your aftercare.
And drink fucking water, because we are in the desert and nobody drinks enough water around here. But yeah, you don't have to do that. Don't slap your tattoo. Just take care of it. Ice pack if it's really bad. Next question.
All right, perfect. Do you guys do traditional? It's like an oddly specific question. Yes. Yes, we do.
Yeah, we
you
sure do.
You can look through our portfolio and see.
Probably better than you, baby.
Yep. How often do I or should I use sunscreen on my tattoo? So as someone who loves skin, because that is my canvas, please apply sunscreen daily. And also understand that sunscreen needs to be reapplied. So if you want to have longevity on your tattoo, reapply your sunscreen. And then just a sidebar on sunscreen, real fast, the higher the SPF, the better. So we want a full sun block. That means we want to do things that are 100 SPF or more. And another little tiny note there, as far as I know, it could have been updated, but the last time that I looked in it, which was a couple years ago, the FDA does not regulate sunscreen. So the only sunscreen that regulates, and like I said, might be outdated, is like children's sunblock is the only one that is regulated properly. So you can be paying more money for 100 SPF, and it's not a guarantee that you're going to be getting that. So when it comes to like protecting your skin and protecting your tattoos, children's sunblock, it's where it's at. And please reapply.
Love that. Side note, as a brown woman who is guilty of doing this all these years, just because you have darker skin and you don't burn, doesn't
you still
mean
do burn, you just don't see it.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. You still have damage to the skin. So it might be harder for me to burn. I still do burn though. Mm-hmm. Again, it's harder to see it. Now, because I've been looking for it, I can tell when I've actually been burnt. And I don't necessarily have the same like effects as like white people do with a sunburn. But please, just because you are tanner, you have more melanin in your skin, do not skip the sunscreen because A, it's really bad for you. Sun damage still exists for us. And B, you get better tattoos. So,
yep.
Next question.
Perfect. Do I have to be loyal to one artist?
No, I don't. I personally don't think you do. The only time that I feel a little irked when people aren't loyal to me is if you make it my problem. And by make it my problem, I mean, so we scheduled a tattoo appointment, correct? And then you decide to reschedule. Okay, totally fine. I get it. Shit happens because of finances, whatever. And then you reschedule that appointment again. And then I'm like, okay, well, it happens. Like, whatever. Then you come in for your tattoo appointment, which is like way months down the line of like what we had originally agreed upon. And you come in with like 50 new tattoos. That's the only time I get a little irked because I'm like, okay, so you decided to make me scramble to fill your spot in the calendar because you went and got tattooed by someone else. And then I had to scramble again to fill that spot. That's money I'm missing out. That's money taken away from my mouth. So yeah, I don't care if you decide to go and collect. I encourage it. I think it's awesome that people go out and find different artists and connect with different people and get different styles. Again, the only time I have a problem with it is when you make it my problem. So don't make it my problem.
I love that. I guess to build on that slightly is I also do not care unless you own and get a shitty tattoo. Then I care.
I love that.
Because I like to think that I educate my clients enough to be able to find a good tattoo artist. Mm-hmm. So then when you come in for another tattoo with me and you have a super shitty tattoo and you don't even know it's shitty, at that point, I do feel like you cheated on me with like somebody that's way less attractive. That's really insulting. If you come
level
in
up
and you
nothing.
Yes, level the fuck up. Come in with a dope ass tattoo, or at least one that's like the same quality as mine. Fuck yes.
Tight.
And
Hell
if you come in with a dope ass tattoo, oh my god, I'm like, fuck yes, you cheated.
Give me their IG. I want to follow them too. Like
in the best possible way, good quality work, because then it feels like, hey, look, you appreciate what we're doing here. Whereas if you come in with just a bunch of shit, then yeah, that's super insulting. And that's the only time I care. But otherwise, like, no, collect. We do collabs.
Yeah.
I encourage people, like I'm doing a collab with Mark in a couple months because I want to do the color stuff and he wants to do the black and gray stuff, and it works out perfect because I don't want to do black and gray and he doesn't want to do color. So like, I definitely can't say only stick to one artist when I encourage you for the shit I don't want to do, go see someone else.
Yep.
What should I look out for to find a good artist?
Ooh, okay, this is a great question. I feel like you should definitely be doing your research, obviously, and looking at their pieces, and not just looking at their pieces, but asking yourself, does this align with what I want?
Yes.
So tattoo artists, for the most part, will only post designs that they want to do more of. And so if you're looking through an artist and you notice that they do large scale pieces and primarily work on sleeves, back pieces, leg sleeves, all that stuff. But all you really want is just basically a minimum tattoo. You just want some script on your arm. They're a great artist, but like, they're kind of hinting at you that they're only doing large scale. So that's how I would find a good artist personally. And then, I don't know, meet up with them. You can also meet up with them. You can find a great artist and just realize that you don't vibe in the consultation. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. If you like do a consultation with them and you're like, nope. I agree. I think like look at portfolios. I also personally, and this is like a pet peeve that I have against tattoo artists who don't post like anything about themselves. I think it's super important for you to also feel comfortable with them as a person.
Yes. Yes.
Because like, you know, if you've listened to more than just this episode, it's very clear that I'm an outspoken individual. And if you are not comfortable with somebody who is queer, then you don't want me to be your tattoo artist.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I think that like that's something that artists need to be better about, is posting more about their personal lives and like who they are, because like you've said over and over again, it is an intimate thing. So same as I would love to know more about anyone who's working on me, whether it be my doctor, my dentist, whatever, because I want to feel comfortable that this person is like,
they have my best interest in
that
mind.
they have my best interest.
Yeah, and not just my best interest, but like my community as a whole, which again goes back to the queer thing. Like I want to make sure that whoever I'm seeing is also in full support of the queer community.
Yep.
You know?
Also, just a side note, look at the quality of lines. Make sure that like the lines look clean to you. And zoom in, y'all, on your phones and look to see if they colored outside the lines.
Yeah, big deal.
Because that's a really easy way that you can just zoom in and like one little tiny thing getting colored outside the lines every once in a while, that's really normal. Client could have moved. No bigs.
Yeah.
However, if you see consistently that they are coloring outside the lines, that's a sign of a not good tattoo artist, because that's a sign of someone who doesn't care. So even if you're not like, hey, I don't care about them personally, I just want to look at the quality of their work. Saturation, making sure that you can see that they have good smooth blends are a great thing to look at. And then just line quality, making sure they can do thin lines and thick lines and that they are not janky wobbly.
Oh, big thing for me too. Make sure that the lines connect.
Oh my God,
I see a lot of the time, where like the artist just like it, just one little zap and the line would connect. So
yeah, it's those little things that make the difference between a good tattoo and a meh or a shitty tattoo. Okay, so what styles/pieces are you guys individually focusing on at this moment?
Ooh, I love this question. I am focusing primarily on full color anime. I've decided to stop taking black and gray anime because it just doesn't fill my cup. I want to move on to bigger and better and color. And then full color neo-traditional animals and flowers, maybe. Mostly animals, though. You?
Beautiful. So we had this discussion like last week or two. I am a trash can artist. I will always be a trash can artist. New School obviously has like my heart and soul, but I love tattooing a variety of things. That being said, I will go through an entire year or two where I don't give a fuck about a specific style. So besides like black and gray, I don't really care. As long as it's color, I'm happy. And I do prefer larger pieces at this point, but I also have a ton of clients that I adore that get small shit that like, I'm a trash can. I'm just going to take whatever as long as when I look at it, it makes me happy.
Yep.
That's the biggest thing. And that can be anything from like, I'm a sucker for handwriting. So like I will tattoo handwriting all the time. I very seldom turn that down, but like anything from handwriting to like full color space sleeves, I'm stoked.
Boom.
Okay. How long should my description be? Question mark. A whole ass paragraph. Okay. So I need to like adjust in my seat for this one. Here's the deal. Tattoo artists, 9 times out of 10, not avid readers. If you write too much, it becomes too much where we get overwhelmed and we don't want to read it. So keeping it short and sweet, thinking maybe 1 paragraph. And if you remember back to school, 3 to 5 sentences. That is what your consultation is for, is to do that like deep dive.
Yes.
More importantly for us, because obviously we have our website where you can attach up to 3 images, is going to be attaching your most important images. That can be of tattoo styles that you like. That can be of like the actual, like if you have a design already pre-done, it's just to give us an idea. So that way we can say, yes, I want to take this piece, or no, I don't. But if you put typically more than a paragraph, we're there like, fuck, that's so much to read.
It's really easy to get lost in.
Yeah.
I think that's my problem with it, is like that initial description gives me a doorway to the possibilities of like, okay, I think to zone in on like the bare bones, the bare basics. They want neo-traditional, they want color, they want this subject matter, and they want this like, other subject matter.
Yeah.
When it's too much, I lose those clear pathways to decide whether or not this is the path I want to take.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess that being said, now would be a good time for us to give you an example of like a great way to structure it, the way she just said.
Oh, yeah.
So having the location that you want, the estimated size you want. So that way we know, like, are we looking at, 7 inches? Are we looking at an entire sleeve? And then what your subject matter is, the style you like. Also, attaching a photograph of the style helps, because a lot of times, and this is not on any of y'all, if you're a client, not on you at all. Our industry cannot name things for shit. So when you say you want watercolor, there's a ton of different ways of watercolor, and actual watercolor paintings and watercolor tattoos, very different styles. So attaching reference pictures for us to know the style that you're looking at helps a ton. And then like she said, just including, this is like the general idea. I want a lavender sprig and I want a raccoon smoking a joint.
Love that.
Done.
And you don't have to tell me the backstory of the raccoon smoking the joint, and that's
I don't want to know
symbolizing your dad, and like, you do.
I want to know it in
like,
person. I want to know that your dad was a raccoon who fucking loved getting lit, and he loved patchouli, but always mistook patchouli for lavender. Exactly. So that's why you got lavender. But I want to know that in person. I don't want to know that in the paragraph.
Yeah, tell me in person. I need to decide whether or not artistically, first from a business standpoint, that this is something I can achieve from you, not emotionally, if we can vibe. So
perfect.
Again, consultation.
Okay. What tattoos do most people regret?
I would say matching tattoos with your boyfriend / girlfriend, because I did the same thing. So probably don't do that.
I'm going to say home done tattoos.
Oh, yeah.
I do a lot of cover-ups, and I do some names. But if it's a poorly done tattoo, that's when I cover it up. Because even like with her, like the ones that she has matching, not a big deal, because they're well done.
They're
so she's
well
like,
done.
whatever, they look good.
Yeah.
And
they're a story. They're funny at that point. But like,
yeah, matching tattoos, terrible. And also just shitty tattoos. Don't get tattooed out of somebody's house. You've heard us go over and over it. Don't do it. And check people's portfolios. Make sure they're going to do a good job on you. Otherwise, I'll see you in my chair for a cover-up. So this is the last one I have. I think you have one.
I have a few.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
How do you know if you should get a tattoo?
If you should or
it says should get a tattoo.
If you want one and
over the age of 18.
You are over the age of 18. This is a loaded question. If you should, if you're ready to, here are some things you should know if you're ready to get a tattoo. If you're not constantly double checking and double guessing, I guess, whether or not you should do it, I need you to be firm, and this is what you're doing. You are getting a tattoo.
Yep.
I am sorry, but I am at that stage where I cannot babysit you and convince you to get a tattoo. You should have already convinced yourself basically that you want it. That's not my job. I'm not here to comfort you. I'm here to do the tattoo. You need to make sure that you do that first. So
yeah, I think that's the thing, is like addressing it from the standpoint of any other procedure. If you
We seem to be experiencing some technical difficulties, but your host will join you next week to answer more of your questions.